Hello. For some reason, I can't hear you.
It would be probably a good thing to start this off with a working microphone, huh?
I mean, you don't have to.
You know, with the madness that we have lined up with the sheer number of people involved, of course, I'd be the one to screw something up right off the get go here. So,
To be fair, this is kind of who we are. So, we're just going to roll with it.
yeah. But yeah, we're happy to have a bunch of people joining us today to talk about something new and exciting that is going to be coming to GTIA ChannelCon this year. Um, we were offered a space by GTIA to plan a pre-day, and with that, we decided to try and pivot and bring in as many people as possible to turn this into a true community pre-day that involves everyone. So, what does that actually mean?
So, we ended up with a whole bunch of people saying, I'm in, which was fantastic. And I can't thank all of you enough because the amount of content that we have going on is amazing. Not only that, but we have more than 10 communities that have come together to put all of this content together. I think this is the first time anything like this has either been attempted or hasn't somehow started like a major fire somewhere yet. Knock on wood.
It's still early to start another worldwide incident, so
That's fair. But we do know because of the amount of people that are coming together, it is free to attend. So if you're like, hey, I was coming to ChannelCon anyway, come a day early. We've got a lot of stuff going on and it costs you nothing. You just have to show up.
yeah. And one of the exciting things about this is we're kind of blending the content between experienced speakers and people that are just getting their feet wet. So if you're a new speaker or have not spoken before and are interested in being involved, we want you. Please reach out. And the other thing that's kind of unique to this is designed for vendors and MSPs or IT service providers. So for both sides of the house to attend.
Yep.
With with that said, let's talk about the communities that are involved.
So we have from the entirety of the communities that are out there, we've got Cyber Drain, we've got MSP Unplugged, we have everything MSP. I've heard the Goose is coming from MSP Geek. We may see that around. Who else do we have?
Gosh, so we have IT Business Owners Group off Facebook. We have Reddit's R MSP, Good, Bad, and Ugly. We have Cyber Drain, Cyber Rise, and the MSP initiative all taking part. And we're working with other communities to try and get involved. So if your community is not listed here and you would like to be part of this, please reach out and we will certainly try to get you involved as much as possible. Let's talk kind of briefly about what the agenda looks like for this. So in the morning, and just to recap, this is going to be on the Monday before GTIA ChannelCon. We will have a quick discussion, fireside chat with MJ Shore and Dan Wensley, the new CEO for GTIA, about the direction of GTIA. We'll have probably a spicy panel discussion about what MSPs and vendors truly want from each other. Uh,
And we have the human centric part of IT going on. So we want to balance the passion preventing burnout and bridging the gap inside of there. So we've got some phenomenal speakers that you may or may not have seen before in there. And then Roddy's joining us to talk about leadership in tech. And I'm pretty sure he's bringing friends, or at least I hope he's bringing friends because nobody wants a full 45 minutes of Roddy.
I don't think anyone can handle it. And then we're going to be diving into CTF 101. So if you've never done a capture the flag, this will be an awesome experience for you. And this doesn't just apply to people that are in a technical role. This matters to everyone that is leadership down on to those that are just starting out. So be a great experience there.
We do want to mention that meals are on your own for this. The hotel is pricey, and because it's community led, there's not a whole lot of pricey to go around for food. So bring your bag lunch, go grab some lunch, do whatever you need to do. Bring some snacks, maybe some to share with the class.
Absolutely. And we will try and be as transparent as possible about this whole process and what all the finances looked like. And so that anyone that wants to be involved in the future, if we're able to do this again, you know exactly where we're coming from and what how the how things came together. So, Dawn, you want to take us through the afternoon agenda here?
Yeah, so the afternoon we kick off with an AI reality check. Callan Sapien, Ashley Cooper, John Harden, Chris Johnson, and Natalie Suarez are kind of setting the record straight on that. And then we get into some operations and AI projects with Kate Schlarf. And I'm probably messing up her last name. Hopefully not.
Yep, and then we'll have another workshop, practical advice here and experience on tabletop exercises that actually work. And then we'll be breaking down operational efficiencies in MSPs from a global perspective. So we'll be looking at it from those in the US market, Canada, as well as in Europe.
And
And
then
then, Dawn, you'll be closing us out, right?
I'm going to finish out the day with a couple of friends, Amanda LaChapelle, Eric Anthony, Paco LeBron, and Dan Tomaszewski. So we're going to hang out, talk about the power of community and how we got from the beginning of the day to the end, hopefully with no fires involved.
Yeah, we'll see what actually happens. I'm actually betting on the fires though. So if that isn't reason enough on why you should attend, we have a long laundry list of people here to join us today to run through 10 reasons on why they think you should be adjusting your travel schedule to make sure you're there for that Monday pre-day. So let's start off with reason number one. Welcome, Eric and Chris. How are you guys?
Awesome. How are you?
Excellent. So let's talk a little bit about the fact that this is the first ever GTIA Community Pre Day. What makes this special? Why did you guys? Why are you involved, and why are you cheering for this initiative?
Chris?
So correction, this is the third or fourth year that we've done. Oh, great. You have to go. Eric goes first.
Okay. So, when Henry reached out to me about this, I really think that this is the kind of situation where we really have the opportunity to come together as all of the communities, with GTIA being the agnostic, trade industry association. And so really just being able to do that and being part of the first one was part of what excited me.
Awesome. And CJ, you were saying that this is not actually the first.
It is not the first. This is the first time we've had community. I
I
don't
can hear
have
you.
mute on. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So the it started 3 years ago. I think MSP Ignite did the first quote pre day, and then we've had multiple adds to that over the past couple of years. This is the first time we've had communities plural for a pre-day, which is super exciting because I think as we've heard with the changes with GTIA and Dan Winsley coming into the equation, is what does it mean to bring communities and associations together, to what Eric said about in an agnostic environment of we're not pushing our own agendas. It's an opportunity for us to share that headspace of what are the challenges that you're experiencing in your communities and bringing them together under one umbrella. That to me is really what it's all about.
Awesome. And I guess, is there anything special that you guys saw on the agenda that you're kind of looking forward to?
Well, I mean, for me, it was, the fact that I actually get to be on the agenda. But no, in all seriousness, I think it's really just uh, one of the things that really stood out to me is the fact that you're including vendors in this as part of the agenda, and not as presenters, but as participants. And I think a lot of times vendors are missed as participants, and they're always put in this category of they're just trying to preach and sell their products, when there are a lot of vendors, people on this call, who are very strong participants and supporters of the communities that we all live in.
Yeah, I know one of the big things we wanted to do is try and use this as a way to bring together people that wouldn't necessarily have the opportunity to work together in a traditional vendor-led event. So very appreciative to GTIA for kind of allowing us that space to create something unique that I think you're not likely to see in too many other places. That's I know whether that's just vendors versus IT service providers, or also just a plethora of communities that are coming together for this. So, all right. Anything else to add before we move on to reason number 2 here? All right. Let's go ahead and move on to 2. Hey, Matt, Amanda, how are you guys?
I'm good. How are you? I was going to be in with y'all. Amanda's an awesome partner to be on stage with. This is great.
Oh, you did this so that I wouldn't crack up with Matt on off stage. I'm see what's happened here.
Yeah, I know. I was very good at people. It was very good. Good to see y'all, man. Henry and Don, Amanda.
Thanks for having me. So your question is like, what are we excited about? Is that what the?
What are you guys excited about, and what have you seen as far as speakers in the lineup that drew your guys' attention?
I will just say first that I love that you have the different communities, because the reality is they all speak to different people. And since ChannelCon is going to have a diverse amount of people there, it's going to be great because they can get, whatever they need from wherever they need. And a lot of us operate in more than one community, so that's kind of good. And I feel like anytime they do these like community pre-days where people come together, what I get excited about, content especially, is the hallway conversations become more formalized. And I know that sounds bad, but it's actually great, because when we talk about inclusion, it's hard sometimes to be the person to walk up in the hallway and join something. So like when you have these conversations that happen that people feel invited to attend, and then you can stay afterwards and ask a question, and then it just makes it way more approachable. And specifically, anytime that anybody can put themselves in a room with Ashley Cooper when she talks about AI is probably a good thing, because I feel like the mind meld going on there with how it works. So I'm excited to listen to that one.
Yeah, true story. I would say I like the fact that there was a voting process, right? That was part of this. One of the things, Henry, y'all did really well was like, here's all the topics that all these speakers decided they wanted to do. And to your point, a mix of speakers, a mix of different speakers. But then there was a rank voting of those, of like, did it get like 12 thumbs downs or only 4? Thankfully, I think Jason and I got only 4 or 5 thumbs downs in our terrible idea. So like we made it to the cream of the bottom, But no, I think it's that process is going to allow for us to have more like meaningful to the people in the constituents of those communities, right? Actually, Topper just said I forgot to thumbs down something. Thanks, buddy. It's cool. I got distracted. Squirrel. Okay. But anyways, back to the point. I think having a lot of different speakers, it's content people actually want, and it's all from the community that's going to be represented. So I think that's a great call out on that. And I'm excited to bring the one we're going to be doing later with Jason. So that's going to be fun.
Awesome. Fantastic stuff. All right, we're going to try and power through here onto reason number 3, just so we can keep moving. All right. Mr. Slagle, all by himself because Menzies didn't show.
What's up?
How are you, sir?
I am good. How about yourself?
Good. All right, so we've got some deep dive workshops. There's 2 of them that are on the agenda, and you're going to be leading one of them. You mind touching base on what that looks like?
Yeah, I'm actually a big believer in hands-on learning, right? In trying to use real-world examples to try to expand our knowledge. So I had the idea of a CTF challenge. Increasingly, a bunch of our conferences are doing them. I know Beyond had one. I know Beyond Amsterdam is likely to have one. Secura had one. Connect could have one, right? So they're pretty common, but they're pretty unapproachable for a lot of people, right? Like they require a skill set that, a lot of people don't have. And they also, they raise a question of why I'm even bothering to do this. So we hope to both teach you to do your first, maybe easiest CTF challenges. We only have 75 minutes, as well as convince you that this is actually a good idea and something that you should be doing more of and something that you should be having your technical resources do.
Yeah, I think that there's a lot to be said that, at least my experience talking with MSP owners, is sometimes they're just afraid to tackle some of these topics. It can be intimidating, especially if you don't or didn't start with a technical background. So I think having things like this that are approachable and kind of an entry on ramp for people are a fantastic value add for that.
Yeah.
So, with that, what's the thing that you're most excited to teach about at the CTF?
The One of the things that I do when I approach a CTF is I use a very scientific method approach to it, right? Where we form a hypothesis, we then try to prove or disprove that that's the direction we should be driving down, right? So teaching that general troubleshooting methodology and mindset to people, binary division, let's see if we can cut the problem set in half, right? Let's change one variable at a time and then test, right? Like teaching that general troubleshooting method, I think is something that will resonate very well with people.
Awesome stuff. Well, we're looking forward to it, and I'm sure it will be a fantastic, knowledgeable experience thing. I think you're doing that with Matt and Natalie Suarez. Is that
Yep,
correct?
I believe so.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, sir. And we're going to power on to reason number 4. All right, Jack and Roddy.
Hi there.
Hello.
I think we should probably just move along.
Yeah, just keep it going, guys. Keep it going.
I don't think we have enough enough of a delay to censor this.
I turned off the offstage feed and minimized chat because I don't want to see what's going on in that area.
Fantastic. So this is an entirely community-built agenda. And as Matt Lee was kind of touching on earlier there, we built this off of kind of a voting system, so a non-traditional way that a lot of content is built for these types of events. I guess what are you guys excited about contributing to it, and what topics kind of mattered most to you?
Jack, go ahead. I'll let you go first.
All right. So I think you mentioned it most, and kind of Matt point this. This is a community-led session, right? Community-led content. I think that's important for a lot of reasons, and it's honestly important to why myself personally contribute. I'm sure a lot of us do. It's community-led allows us to build a space for honest conversations, right? To be candid, to talk about things. We get in a room so many times that the pitch is coming towards us. There's agendas behind whatever's given, the education. And so being a community-led event and a session, it allows us to set that agenda for us to bring the topics and to have the pivot and points that aren't just about marketing or always driving towards something, that kind of leaves out some of the meat of things. What do you think?
For sure. Like Jack stole one of my points I'd written down, which is open and honest conversations, right? Like if you walk into a presentation and the main thing is you're waiting for the sales pitch to happen, right? Like I think you tune out a little bit, right? But if you want to have an open, honest conversation, you definitely have to have it driven by the community, right? Because it's what the community wants to hear. And I think as we start to talk about like how do we shape the industry and like how do we share our own strategies and ideas and innovations, right? It comes through community. It comes through that collaboration we have. So looking forward to sharing ideas around leadership. If I have to bring cardboard cutouts of people and mimic their voice, I will. But if, there will be
It's
ideas, right?
your Taylor Swift cutout.
Amongst others, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, Roddy, I would something you said there, makes sense. I think that we bring something, and I know you're on the dark side now, so I get you're, with the vendor and all that, but we were the boots on the ground with our clients, right?
Yeah.
We saw firsthand how fast things are shifting, how fast the landscape's shifting, the technology and the customer expectations and demands, right? We get to drive that shift instead of waiting for vendors to pick up on these shifts or changes in trend. We get to feed that back. We get to talk with our peers and have those conversations about what they're seeing, what I'm seeing, what you're seeing, different verticals, different customer bases, customer sizes, and we get to learn from each other. And I think you said it, when we get into a room, so many times we kind of check out or tune out half the conversation and we miss some points because we're waiting for that sales pitch. But I feel like this is a room that we can go in with an open mind. We know there's not going to be a sales pitch, and we can be more candid and open and honest and share things or be receiving things that we wouldn't normally.
Yeah. Yeah, and we talk about the vulnerability in the discussions that we have, and I think like panels, especially those that don't have a line item or a ROI attached to it, that drives a lot of good conversations every single time.
And that's hard because somebody's got to pay for it.
Someone has to be open and vulnerable. Yeah, someone has to pay for it. Yeah, that too.
Exactly.
Yep.
All right. Anything else, guys?
No. Perfect. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for.
Yeah. Appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
All right. Reason
man,
number
I got
5.
an AI person too.
That's right on brand for you, right?
Dan just heard I was coming to Michigan, and he was like, "Nope, we got to batten the hatches."
All right, let's dig a little bit into reason number 5 here. We're going to have channel-focused topics. So heavy alignment on vendors and IT service providers. I know that you had brought a lot of perspective to AI recently. Is there any particular topics or sessions that you're particularly excited about? I think there's 2 or 3 different AI ones that I saw on there.
Yeah, the one right after me, I'm really excited about. One of my first exposures to, and not when I say me, I mean us. It's a panel, so it's not me. But yeah, the first real exposure that I had to practical application of AI was by Movilla, or Movilla, however you say it correctly. And I'm a project management nerd, so the way that worked was really cool, and so that's going to be a good one. I do think the demystifying is critical. As you know, we've talked about, like, I think we're in an existential moment. I think if we don't shift as an industry, vendors and community alike, we're in trouble. But I do think the flip side of that is there's a huge amount of opportunity because we're more nimble, we can move faster, and so adoption. If we get understanding, the playing field has never been more level. So I think pulling together as a channel and seeing that, it's really awesome.
Awesome. Yeah. And I think that we hear so much about AI just kind of getting slapped on everything in the space.
Oh my gosh.
I know something that's near and dear to your heart is kind of cutting through that noise a bit. So
yeah, and I think I just had a conversation with the MSP last night. It wasn't vendor or anything specific. They're struggling with selling services. They've adopted one of the solutions in the market that lets you kind of resell AI solutions, and they keep going to their customers, and their customers keep saying, we're already there. We need you to be here. And so it's really interesting to hear that. So I think there is a lot of noise, which means that especially those of us that have worked in any type of practitioning, whether it's AI, whether it's security, whether it's IT, we have a tendency to try and like filter through the noise. And so we tune out a lot of the noise, and we're also skeptics at heart, even if we're all tinkerers. And so I think that for me, it's that separation of those different things is really critical, and cutting through the bullshit to get to where we actually have to be is going to be critical.
Absolutely. Awesome. Well, I appreciate you hopping on and hopping in and helping generate content and helping get this event off the ground.
Sounds good. So thank you guys for setting it up. I'm really excited. It was really cool to watch everybody. Lots of egos in the room, good and bad. Ego is a good thing and a bad thing, but it was really cool watching everybody be like, hey, make sure we have time for everybody and work together. It was a really, really nice experience helping organize and seeing it. So thank you, Henry and Dawn, all you do on this side.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks. All right, let's hop into reason number 6. All right. Colleen, Natalie, how are you?
Great. How are you guys?
Good.
Good.
So tell us a little bit about, networking. What are you looking forward to? You guys see enough people on the daily doing what you do, but what's going to make this different?
You want to go first, Natalie?
I think we're microphone issue there.
Try that again.
Okay, I'll go first then. So I've built a ton of professional relationships through the communities online, and it's going to be really nice to see everyone in person. I know a few people, Paul in particular is one of them, who's from the UK. I'm excited to meet him in person. And it's also just wonderful how this pre-day is just a mashup of a bunch of different communities, where a few of them I haven't been introduced to, and there's a few people I've never met or haven't seen them online or anything like that. So it's great to be a part of the more the merrier type of community like this one, where everyone has that common goal of strengthening the industry. So if anyone's looking to be a part of that and kind of see like how we can go forward together and bring a lot of different faces from different places, me, lots of other people, it's definitely going to be something you don't want to miss.
Awesome. What about you, Natalie?
Can you hear me now?
We can.
Awesome. Yay. I just think it's great to have all the different communities working together. And I really do like the opportunity to include vendors as well as community players, because I think a lot of us have great perspectives and are not there to sell, but really do care about the community and want to work with all of you. So I think that's great.
Awesome.
Networking with this group, it's a super high value experience, but it's a lot of low pressure. So coming to pre-day one, don't come with that mentality of like, this is a conference, I'm going to be exhausted. No, you're learning from people who are very neutral, just care to educate you, who are like-minded. And so.
I totally agree with that. I don't feel pressured in this community like at some other conferences.
Yeah, I think there's also a lot to be said of putting vendors and IT service providers on the equal playing field there, where regardless if you're from a big vendor, small vendor, or a small MSP, big MSP, the fact that everyone's going to kind of come together and share those experiences regardless, without logos and without egos, I think is awesome. I know I'm always defensive when I go to some events, and I know people have sales quotas that they have to meet, and an event like this for me is it's fantastic way to start networking with people without that initial assumption that they want something that's going to feed their bottom line.
All right. Any final words before we move on?
Just looking forward to hanging out with everyone and learning some new stuff and sharing some new stuff.
Yeah, see y'all at the pre-day.
All right, see you there. Well, let's move up to number 7. Real work and cyber and AI sessions. How cool is that? So tell us, guys. I mean, what are you looking forward to? Are you looking forward to something specific? How interested are you in the AI sessions? What does it look like for you?
Yeah, I think we're interested in all of it, right? So cybersecurity and AI have just permeated everything for the past couple years, AI especially, and just seeing some content to try and like just clear up some of this. You guys said it perfectly, right? There's just so much out there. Like everyone has a stake in it. Everyone's trying to get there, be a thought leader in AI. Everyone's trying to show how awesome they are, and just clearing some of this up and getting to like some of the real important aspects of AI. I think that's going to be a fantastic session.
Yeah, I agree. I'm really looking forward to. I have learned along the way that I have probably none of the answers when it comes to AI. Right? There are things that I've been using it for that are working really well for me, and things that I've used it for that I was like, wow, that was a terrible idea. So being able to exchange ideas on the AI side and what's working, what's not working, and trying to figure out as we're all muddling through this revolution or evolution together, and getting past all the hype and the FUD and everything that comes along with it. I'm really excited about. So, uh, yeah, I just can't wait. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Awesome. And I think you guys are going to be involved. I think, Jared, you're involved in the workshop around doing good tabletops and so forth. Anything on that you're particularly looking forward to?
I think we both are actually with Dave Elton. So
Yeah.
I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be fun. There's some things that I've seen along the way that have been entertaining and educational. So I'm planning on coming with some stories of things that have where things have really worked, and more importantly, where we've actually learned something from the tabletop. Because again, if you're just using it to check the box for a compliance exercise, it's doing you no good. You want to be setting these up for educational purposes, and so you can actually learn something and improve your processes and your posture along the way. So I'm going to come with some stories. Topper, I'm sure you have some good stories to share also.
Yeah,
Well,
I actually
the
know
lawyers
one's.
will allow him to talk about.
Yeah, right. But I think you said it the right way, Henry. Like, yeah, there's good tabletops, but man, for a lot of people, even just any tabletop would be an improvement, let alone even a really good one. Just like getting across the message that's starting to think about this stuff, even if it's just kind of like standing around the water cooler and asking what happens if this happens, right? That's huge. Just trying to get the message across that yes, you can make it very formal and complicated, but getting into your mindset of just planning ahead and thinking about what your response would be to scenarios that come up. I'm hoping to get the message across that it can be formal. You may need it to be formal for regulatory reasons. Doesn't have to be.
Awesome. Great stuff.
All right.
All right.
Number 8.
Moving right along here. Mr. Harden, how are you, sir?
Good.
Long time no see.
I know, right? I've had private chat off for the last 5 minutes, so I have no idea what's actually going on.
That's probably for the best. And I know Tico's was going to join us here from the Netherlands, but had something come up. But super excited to be having someone from kind of more of the global stage joining us. Kind of that whole collaborative approach here, not just from the vendor and MSP side of things, but we're seeing GTIA kind of represent really that global community more and more.
Yeah, I'm excited to have the whole groups along. I think a lot of the ANZ members come. I know you just got back from their EMEA event. Is that correct?
Yeah, I did the UK and I Spotlight Awards in their community meeting a couple weeks ago. So, John, obviously you've worked with a lot of different companies, a lot of different communities. You want to touch base on what you see as kind of what helps drive collaboration between those different communities?
Between the communities or the vendors and the
MSP?
MSP?
Or organizations. Yeah.
Yeah, so I actually did a talk on this one out at GeekCon, or we did a panel out there at GeekCon around vendor and MSP collaboration. And I think they're so intertwined. The whole theme of the talk was that we're going to rise to by working together and collaborating together. But I think you mentioned I've worked at different companies. I've been on the MSP side for about 8 to 10 years, and now I've been on the vendor side for about 8 to 10 years. And I feel like the best vendors are the ones that are spending time listening to their MSPs that are leveraging their technology, and the ones that are taking those direct feedback. And so I guess that would be the same for communities. Whoever's listening and actually taking time to get that feedback incorporated is the most critical side of it. I love getting. I don't know. That's my favorite time of the day is talking with the other MSPs, less on the vendor side, because there's just so much knowledge. They know what they want way more than what the vendor knows what they want. To be honest.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, what are you most excited about with the pre-day, and what's going to kind of define its success in your eyes?
The amount of rubber duckies that Matt Topper brings is on my list. I'm hoping to see every one of those like brought up. I'm sure there will be some like Malort related AI drinking game. But outside of those items, probably the tabletop. I want to see the tabletop. I'm going to be super engaged in that, and the CTF as well. I'm personally looking forward to a ton of the tracks. I think there's a lot of growth for everybody out there.
Awesome stuff. Well, we're looking forward to it.
Do it.
All right. See you
let's
there.
move on to number 9.
So, saving time and money while you're learning. Give me a little bit about what do you take back, Paul, about any conference that you go to, but especially ones that are community focused like this? Like, what time do you get to save? What money do you get to save? And how much learning can you really cram into a day?
I always like to double down on stuff. So when I can come back from events with a head full of ideas, thoughts, that for me is really where the value is. And then you can kind of bring it back, double down with your team, share the information, and try and see how you can move that needle inside your organization. That's where the magic is. And I think for me, around the community piece, is coming to these events is fantastic because we get to see absolutely amazing people who are so open and sharing that information with us all, and we can all grow and learn from that.
That's great. Do you see, I guess I know that you're from the UK. I'm sure everybody else has figured out you sound a little different, but maybe you live here.
It's a little giveaway, isn't it? It's a little giveaway.
It is, but it doesn't mean you live here, but you actually do live in the UK. I mean, how much do you get from your American friends, right? Because we do business a little bit differently.
I call it a finger on the pulse. It's always great to see what's going on around the world. As we know, I talk a lot about cyber as well, and those threats don't know boundaries and restrictions. They're free flowing. So I think we need to join up the message and the learnings and see how we can help each other. So for me, it's always super interesting to see what you guys are doing over there, and in the other regions. I mean, we've got representation. Henry mentioned earlier from the Netherlands, from the Benelux region. So it's awesome to see the different regions coming together and sharing this for the benefit of the good.
Awesome. What are you looking forward to the most out of all of this?
Well, it's actually my first ChannelCon, so I'm really excited about that. And I think I'm going to use the pre-day to get to know people a bit more before we go into fully fledged ChannelCon mode. So I can do some networking, catching up with people, and just listening to the agenda is going to be absolutely awesome. I can't wait.
Cool. Well, that was easy.
Awesome. All right. Well, look forward to seeing you there, Paul.
Thank you.
Let's move on to number 10. Last but not least,
Hello.
part of something bigger. Ashley, John, how are you guys?
Oh, doing great.
Good. How are you? I feel like I was a bit on head on a platter there for a second.
Should we be worried about the goots back there? Is polar bear having the midday snack?
That's just like love, like when your dog picks up their little baby dogs. It's just love.
Awesome. So obviously you guys are involved in this, but what's kind of your guys' big why and community building goals behind this pre-day?
Well, for me, it's pretty straightforward, really. To be able to have so many communities represented on one day and to have the participation of those communities as the foundation of it. They always say that a rising tide floats all ships. Well, we're the tide by all coming together and doing this event Pre-Day, and it's just a real exciting thing to be a part of. And I'm very excited to have been invited to be a part of it, and really looking forward to the content that we're going to be seeing from all of the panels.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And Ashley, I know you kind of care about community thing a little
A
bit.
little bit. Well, and it's not even like I care about it so much because it's where it came from. It's like it's something that I've sought out my whole life. I talked about this at MSP GeekCon, right? Where it's like I found MSP Geek through a pain, and like one of my big hot takes that I'm trying to like work out just proof of is kind of like around like, you know, community is built through shared frustration and constraint. We're all trying to solve for something, and the reason why we come together is because we're trying to solve for the same type of thing wherever we came from, right? And I came from the real-time chat kind of side and the small focus group side, and so just kind of seeing all of these ways that people are seeking information and trying to help their own businesses. So like, you know, like John said it, like MSPs know what they want, the individuals within them know what they need to get to those things that they want, and like ultimately community is the outcome of like why they're seeking those things. But really, like, you also have these vendors, like, again, like, who know so much too, and if they could be bridged, that information can be bridged together, we grow so much more. And so it's that bridge between them, that elbow joint between them. And I think that that really is what tells the whole story, and that's what community amplifies. It gives a megaphone to an audience that might feel underheard or just a problem that needs addressing, and the way that we all work together is how we do that.
Awesome. Is there any particular session you guys are looking forward to?
You know,
other than the one you're on?
Well, that aside, all right.
I was going to
No,
say John's.
actually, there's a great deal of valuable conversation that's going to be had, and it's all conversation that we're all thinking about, but we need to have that conversation. And so, to me, that's really going to be the biggest value of the entire day, is that there is an entire day's worth of conversation that provides value, and frankly, I'm looking forward to all of it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's how I feel too. I was looking at that agenda, and I think when you were filling it out, I was like, I don't think I put like a no on. I was like, yep, that sounds great. Love the way that we the way that we bridge different topics together, right? So it's like AI and reality check is something that I'm super interested in talking about, because we as humans spend so much of our time following our own anti-patterns around, okay, well, like, let's rush to the end. And then we do the same thing while we're working with AI. We tell it to rush. We try to get it to do more than what it's capable of. And so talking about those mental models and talking about first principle thinking, and, you know, like one of those big ones is like the circle of competence, like use it for what it's good at, and the human still needs to be involved. And here's how you properly discuss that, while also recognizing that sometimes you're dealing with people who are banging their fists looking for big shiny things, when actually what they want is the consistency and the reliable way to go forward.
Awesome. Yeah, I think one of the other things that kind of stands out to me with this is a lot of times we hear that people don't know how to get involved in a particular community, or they feel that it's kind of cliquey. And even if they don't mean it for it to be that way. And I think this is a great opportunity for someone that is looking to make those connections to find the appropriate community in a very innocent way and get exposed to that. And there's a lot of great resources, very well connected, smart people here, smarter than I am, that I think that you'll be able to, whether you're interested in joining the GTIA councils or getting involved in cybersecurity programs or reaching out to one of the many communities that's helping drive the content with this. I think this is a great opportunity to just break into down that wall.
Well, the other
Absolutely.
part to some of that too is a lot of people think that you have to join a community. It's not about a community. It's find the one or ones or all of them that seem to work well with you. And it might be one, it might be two, it might be four or five. But find your people, and they're there. You just need to figure out which community or
Yeah.
communities you want to be part of.
I'll add something to that quickly, just as a funny little aside on that form that Henry filled out. It's like, do you want to represent a community, or like, do you have a community in mind that you want to represent? And I was just like, yes, just like all of them. Like, yes, like, because it's about the breadth of what you're looking for, and not one place is ever going to give you everything that you're looking for, because there's a specific constraint or a specific problem that is being solved from that. And maybe this other problem, by talking about it, you are kind of doing a disservice to this problem. And so you need to kind of have that decentralized intentionality of like where you're getting information. This is my first ChannelCon. I've never been involved in this side of everything before. I've doubled down, focused so hard on the tech communities that now I'm trying to say like, hey, like there's more to learn here, right?
Absolutely. There's always more to
Yeah.
learn.
All right. Well, we're looking forward to seeing you guys there, and we're going to move on to an 11th like bonus thing here. So, we've got belt buckles for the first 50 registrants. This is kind of a unique thing that kind of came up in chat. This isn't the final design, but it's in process. And yes, for those that are speaking, please register if you wish to receive one of these. But my understanding is that belt buckle actually lights up, so be a unique collector's item. And I think, Dawn, when we were talking, the size wasn't too wild and crazy.
No, it was business card size or just slightly larger. So even for those of us that are not the biggest people on the planet, it will not overwhelm anything that you've got going on.
Awesome. Well, so we've got some great reasons for why you should adjust your travel agenda to be there. Let's talk about what you need to be doing here. So, obviously, if you already made your hotel reservation, that needs to be adjusted. And if you have not made your hotel reservation, as I understand it, the block for GTIA ChannelCon rooms closes on the 11th. So please get that done ASAP.
If you have not booked your flight yet, you should call. You should get that done. Do whatever you need to do, but get there. Maybe you just need to change your flight so you're there a day early, but please do that very, very quickly because those are also getting full.
Yep. And then if you wish to receive that belt buckle and be part of this, please use that URL to register for the pre-day. We'll also drop it in chat, and you'll be able to find it on all of the various socials. And then lastly,
make sure you register for GTIA ChannelCon as well, because you don't want to like just show up for the pre-day and then go home. That would be silly.
Yep. All right. And we want to say a big thank you to GTIA for giving us this opportunity, as well as all of the communities involved. I believe we'll be adding more from the sound of it. And of course, all the speakers, educators that are taking time out of their schedule to contribute and give back to everyone that is attending. So thank you very much. And we hope to see you there.
See ya.
That was impressive.
We're still live.